Hey Canucks fans, what is the fate of forward Sven Baertschi? I'm Clay Emo, I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter, I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram. I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Wednesday, May the 13th. This is where you get Canucks insight that's positive and timely. I got my voice back, thank you for asking. I'm not sure what the heck happened to me yesterday, but 24 hours, had a good day, but I got a good night's rest, and it sounds like I'm back to normal. I'm looking back to normal. Well, I'm always looking normal, even good looking, good GLCPC. But yes, thank you for asking. I am much better today. 2 programming notes. Tonight, I'll be interviewing Sat Shaw of Sportsnet 650 for my next Zoom chat. Very excited about that. But because I'm doing that, I will not do a live stream tonight because it will be too much. I'll probably wreck my voice again if I go with 45 minutes with Sat and then another hour or so on the live stream. So for this week, I will be doing my midweek live stream tomorrow night on Thursday night instead. Okay, let's talk about what I want to talk about today, and that is forward Sven Baertschi. I like him a lot. Good player, nice guy, decent hockey player, but clear to see he wasn't in the Canucks' plans this season. And that's really why I brought it up, because he spoke of the subject with TSN's Jeff Patterson. A really good interview, good story on tsn.ca that Jeff Patterson did with Sven Baertschi. And basically, Sven talked about that he's ready to go. He doesn't want to play in the minors anymore. He thinks that he can play on any of the 31 NHL teams in the league. And he didn't say anything that was out of turn. You know, he's speaking like a confident person, a player. He's speaking like a person that has something to prove, maybe a bit of a chip on his shoulder. So there's nothing in there that really stuck out to me in a bad way. He is a proud athlete, as he's a proud man, and he wants to properly earn his salary of $3.36 million. So let's talk about kind of all the ramifications. Let's talk about what Sven Baertschi said. So we know that he's got, I guess why the story is making news now is the AHL just announced that they're canceling the rest of their season and their playoffs. So no chance of the AHL coming back this season, and that's where Baertschi was playing for the Utica Comets in the AHL. And then we've heard about, you know, if the NHL comes back, they're going to be able to expand their rosters, right, to accommodate AHL players, minor league players, maybe even to make concessions because of all the health scares or the health issues or the consideration. So we know that there's a chance that NHL rosters will be beefed up in terms of numbers if the NHL comes back to play this season. Now we know that, and that goes with the AHL canceling their season. So in the Canucks example, for instance, they could have a guy like Sven Baertschi up on their team. So that's kind of like where this is coming from right now. And Baertschi's looking at, I got nowhere to play for the rest of the year, for the rest of the season, I should say, if the AHL doesn't come back and if the Canucks don't even call me up. So let's talk about Baertschi as a player. He's a good middle six forward. I don't think anyone would say he's a top line guy, but he can slot in on the second line or the third line, depending on what kind of look you want. Left winger, I think he can play both sides, but generally we think of him on the left wing. There's a couple seasons ago he played really well with Horvat in the middle, and then Baertschi on one side, and then Brock Besser on the other side. In fact, Baertschi's best season was a few years ago with the Canucks, where he had 35 points on the season. This season, he only got 6 games in with the Canucks and had only 2 assists in those 6 games. However, in Utica, he was very good. He had 46 points in 43 games. Again, that's 46 points in Utica in 43 games for Sven Baertschi. So a point per game player in the AHL, and then not really getting a chance with Vancouver this season. Now, when we speak of this season, he actually says this. It's kind of interesting. He says that I don't think Vancouver expected me to come back and play. That's my personal opinion. Certain things sink in after a year. There are some moments in the AHL where I thought there are some darn good players, like really skilled players. Sometimes I look at it as the best players aren't always in the NHL. For me, it's confirmation that I don't belong there in many ways. I don't want to be rude or look down on people, but the way I look at the game is a lot different than other guys. As soon as I put on waivers and sent down, for me personally, it was about confirming to myself that I was 100% healthy. So a lot of things in there, a lot of things to unpack, but basically he refers to the fact that he had concussion issues last season, only played in about, I think, 25 or 26 games for the Canucks, and then there were concerns in the preseason. I think they used the word tentative to describe Baertschi's game. Now, Baertschi would disagree with that because he thinks that he was ready to go. He thinks he had a good preseason. I remember that he did have a decent preseason, but you look at what the Canucks did. They brought in JT Miller. They brought in Michael Furlan. They know that Josh Leavell really emerged last year. So then when you look at the top 9 as it was when the Canucks season ended, especially with Brock Besser coming back, and not even including Josh Levo, you don't really see a spot for Baertschi in this lineup, because your top line for that game, you had Pettersson playing with Miller and Toffoli. Then you had Horvat between Pearson and Besser. So there's your top six, and you know that set. And then the third line was playing well. You had Gaudette on one side, and then you had Jake Virtanen you had Gaudette in the middle. You had Jake Virtanen on one side, and then you could really put in anyone like a Anton Roussel, like a Jay Beagle, like a Tyler Mott, Zach McEwen. There are a lot of guys, and that's not, like I said, that's not even including Josh Levo or Michael Ferland. So really, when it comes down to it, who would Baertschi would have replaced? And I think the answer would be no one, not on a regular basis. You can't be a fourth line guy, and we're kind of set there. So then really, you'd have to play him ahead as a winger, ahead of a Virtanen or a Roussel or a Mott or Ferland or Levo if those guys were healthy. And I don't think anyone would argue that Baertschi would unseat any of those guys. The other thing is, you look at his cap hit. It's $3.37 million, or 3.36, 3.3 something. That's a lot of money, especially when you're not playing. And for a team that's going to be, as we anticipate, cap strapped, like the Canucks are next season, you can't simply afford to have that money, although they did this season, basically dead money, sunk money in the minors. Now, there's also the cap recapture penalty for Luongo. There's a Ryan Spooner buyout. So there's a couple other things that are on the books as well, and including current contracts that some people aren't happy with. But really, that's a lot of money to be buried in the minors. But Jim Benning has said he tried to trade him in February, but there wasn't a lot of interest. And you guys know this. I always talk about this. When it comes to trading, you always kind of overvalue your own guys, right? And that's what you do, because you want to try and get value for them, or perceived value back for them. But what's the perceived value for a Sven Baertschi? Do you even get a second rounder? I don't think so. Do you get a third or fourth rounder? It's so tough to say, because he didn't get to play in the NHL. He didn't earn a spot according to the Canucks management. So it's that catch-22, right? How do you bump up his value when you're not playing him? And then Baertschi, and then the Canucks don't want to just settle for like a really weak trade just for the sake of making a trade. But then they're looking at $3.3 million sitting there, and they say, well, I would try and move him for anything, for any type of mid-round draft pick. That's what I would do. So all to say, Sven Baertschi, great player. Great guy, good player. Like, I like him a lot, but in a set role, and I just didn't see that role being with the Canucks this season. And the fact that he was sent down to Utica at the start of the season, came back up, played his 6 games, then went back down to Utica, and no one's been claiming him off waivers. The Canucks seem to not be able to find a trade partner. It speaks to, where the Canucks believe Sven Baertschi's future is, and it's certainly not with the big club. But he's a proud man. He's 27 years old, and I don't think he wants to be in Utica any longer. And that's basically he says that right in another paragraph. He says to Jeff Patterson, I don't want to be back in the minors. That's where I've set my goal at. It's up to them, Canucks management, really, what they're going to do next. That's their job, and that's what they do. So again, I'll link to this article down below. There's nothing he said that was out of turn or to cause controversy. He's just a proud hockey player, a proud man who wants to earn his living justly and fairly by playing in the best league in the world. And even says he doesn't want to go to Europe. He doesn't want to go to Switzerland. He says, I think personally I can play on any team in the National Hockey League. So there you go, Canucks fans. Let me know what you think. I guess the question of the day would be, what do you think is going to happen with Sven Baertschi? And I guess the second question to that is, do you think he plays again for the Vancouver Canucks? And of course, those two questions are related, right? Because I'm basically asking the same thing in different ways. Is what do you think is going to happen with Sven Baertschi? I guess in a general sense, and part and parcel of that, do you think he's ever going to play again with the Vancouver Canucks? So you look at next year, the Canucks will have to make a lot of decisions on guys like, and we know this, Markstrom, Toffoli, Tanev, Stetcher, Fantenberg, Levo. Did I say Virtanen already? Yeah, I think I did. So there's at least 7 or 8 players, UFAs, RFAs, that the Canucks got to make decisions on, and you'd argue those are the priorities over Baertschi. So we'll see where this goes. I'm not that optimistic. I think I don't think he comes up to play for the rest of the regular season, if there is a regular season and playoffs. And then going next year, it would make sense for the Canucks to move Baertschi, because I think $3.3 million for another year in the minors simply is not good asset management. So maybe they end up cutting ties with him this summer by trading him for a mid-round draft pick or something like that, whatever they can get for him. Sad that it has to end this way, but I don't see any other option unless you can convince me otherwise. So leave a comment below. I love to read, react, and reply. Subscribe if you'd like to. Like this video if you'd like to. Look forward to my interview with Sat tomorrow morning on my channel, and then tomorrow night will be my live stream. Not tonight, Wednesday, but I'm bumping it to Thursday, tomorrow night for this week. Have a great day. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Have a great day. God bless, and go Canucks go.